Hey everyone. Hey, I hope you're doing well today. I wanted to share with you my pricing model for offering a new service. Um, I just recently bought a dump trailer. You might see that in some of my earlier videos. I'm really excited about it, and I wanted to share with you the conclusion I came to for buying it versus just renting it or what have you. There's a lot of claims out there that you can really make some, $20,000 a month for doing some dump trailer stuff on the side. Now that means you got to have about 4 or 5 trailers. You got to be constantly busy. Um, and I kind of don't think sometimes that that's a realistic figure. So I wanted to share with you something that might be little bit more realistic if you have your own trailer. So I'm going to share this pricing model with you that I came up with. Now this is very basic. This uses Excel. I understand that not everyone will be as proficient in Excel as others, but I'm going to share with you some formulas. I'm not going to go into those formulas in detail because that would probably constitute a whole new video for each formula on how you come up with it. But what I am going to do is provide the formula for you so that you might know which ones to use. And then if you wanted to research those on your own, you certainly can do that. But I'm hoping that this is helpful to you. This really helps me price and understand what a new service would look like for me. So I purchased a trailer. It's a PJ 2021 16-foot dump trailer. After taxes and after title and licensing was $9,800. That was the total cost of the trailer. So my idea is to rent it out for 2 days, and it would be a full service, kind of like garbage removal dump trailer type service where I leave the trailer at someone's house for 2 days, they fill it up, and then I take it out for them. And so for this, I'm going to charge a $300 flat rate. Now, the way you price one service is not always the way that you price another. And that's simply because one service you might charge an hourly rate, others you might charge a flat rate. So for this one, I'm charging a flat rate. And I'm going to start with $300 and I'll kind of show you how I came to that conclusion. Now, it might be different for you, and it might be different for the type of service that you offer. So this is just a generalization. But that's primarily my revenue. My expenses then, I know that my landfill charges $46.10 per ton as a tipping fee. Now, if you fill up a dump trailer full of just bulky, garage house junk, it's really not going to exceed 2,000 pounds most often. So I feel that 1 ton is a sufficient expense for this. So 46.10. And then I'm going to factor in some fuel. I'm going to say $8 right now. The price of fuel for unleaded is about $2 a gallon. So I'm generalizing that. I'm going to say 4 gallons. And I only service the Bismarck area, so I'm not traveling very far. And then that leads my total to 245.90. So you just sum up the difference. That's 300 minus 46.10 minus $8 equals 245.90. Now, I'm a business owner, so I pay my own taxes, a self-employment tax plus all my own income. So as a general rule of thumb, I typically put 30% away for each service that I offer. I put 30% of the profit away for taxes. You don't always have to do that, obviously, but that rate might be different for you. I just use 30% as a rule of thumb because that's what works for me. So 70% obviously is that difference, and so when you take 245.90 times 70%, you get 172.13. So that's how much I would profit every single time I do this. Now, realistically, I think I can probably do one per week. I'm new to the market, and so doing this, more than one per week might not be realistic. So I'm trying to be real in the sense that maybe in the summertime, I'm going to get maybe 2 or 3 per week, but in the wintertime, I might not have any. And so over the course of a year, my logic is that it will balance out to one per week. And so if I do it 4 times per month, that equals 688.52. And then if I take that amount times 12, I get a yearly profit of $8,262.24. Okay, now what I want to share with you is the 3 Excel formulas that I typically use. They are net present value, internal rate of return, and number of periods. So those are the abbreviations right here: NPV, IRR, and NPER. Now this is a cash flow statement, a very simplified one, and I'm going to tell you how that works here in a minute. But first, let's go over some details or some assumptions. Okay, let's talk about these figures for a minute. So with the net present value calculation, you need to have a discount rate. And basically the discount rate is, or the net present value formula is taking two investment options and comparing them to one another. So the discount rate is often what the annual percentage rate is of the loan. So I financed my PJ trailer, my dump trailer, and let's say that my annual percentage rate of the loan is 7%. And this is my balance, obviously $9,800, because that's how much it cost me. Now the discount rate can be pretty much any number that you want to use as a benchmark. Often it is the same as the annual percentage rate, but it isn't always. So what we're doing with the net present value calculation and the discount rate is we're comparing two options. So let's say from an investment or from a business standpoint, buying this trailer is option A. And option B would be maybe taking the same $9,800 and investing that in the stock market, for example. And let's say that I believe that I can get a 7% return in the stock market if I put the $9,800 there. So this NPV calculation is comparing the two options. Which one is going to produce better results and outcomes for me from an investment or business standpoint? So that's what we're trying to calculate. I know that might sound a little bit confusing, and I'm not going to explain it too much further than this, but please know that this is a very common business analysis tool that many business people will use in order to figure out which option is better for them. So if you're taking on a new project, if you're evaluating a new service, the net present value formulation is typically how they do that. And they usually combine it with IRR, the internal rate of return. Basically, it's producing the return on investment. Okay, now let's talk about how we got those numbers. So net present value, when this formula, and I'll double click on it, you can see it there. When that formula, when the value is positive, in which it is here, it's 18,185, it's very positive. When the net present value result is a positive number, that means you should accept that option over the other option that you were considering. So in this case, this formula is telling me that I should accept this option with buying the trailer and putting it to work over taking that same $9,800 and investing it in the stock market at 7%. And the way that it does that is it uses the cash flows. So this is a simplified cash flow, I don't know, statement, if you will. And basically how we came up with these numbers is that in year 0, which is now, today, basically, we just had a cash outflow of $9,800 because that's the investment cost. And then in year 1, we're saying we have a cash inflow, meaning profit, of $8,262, and we got that number from right down here. We already calculated that earlier, so we're just taking that number and we're inserting it into the timeline. Now for ease of the calculation based on these assumptions, I'm going to say that realistically over the next 4 years, and you can extend this out for however many years you want. This can be 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever. But I realistically want to offer this service at least for the next 4 years. And typically when they do cash flow analysis like this, they will do it for the useful life of the asset. And so these dump trailers, I mean, they can last 20 years as long as you take care of them and you don't, beat it up to death. And even 10 or 15 years is not unheard of. And I'm only doing this for 4. So the longer you do it, the different your net present value number will be and the different your internal rate of return will be. But let's say here, for just the ease of this example, that we're going to make the same amount, or we're going to project that we're going to make the same amount of profit every year for the next 4 years. That means 1 per week, 4 per month, and a total of $82.62 per year. Now this is just cold hard figures here. I just typed these in, and net present value down here in year 0, the cash outflow is still the same, $9,800. But what it's doing in each continuous year is it's discounting at a rate of 7%, and that's this discount rate right here. So what it's saying, for example, in year 4, that same $8,262 in year 4, it's obviously not worth the same amount as it is in today's terms, because we're discounting it at 7%. And 7% is what we're competing against because we think we can make a 7% return in the stock market. Well, in this option, with buying a trailer, we're not making money, we're paying the 7%. It's kind of the inverse, basically. So we discount it at that same rate. So 4 years from now, $82.62 is only worth $63.03. This number right here is just a long version. I wanted to make sure that my numbers matched. So if I double click this, you can see the formula here. There's 2 different ways of doing it, but I just did it so that I could show you these numbers. But in all reality, if you wanted to do it, all you have to do is just the net present value formula itself, which is this one right here. Now we know that we should accept the proposal or this investment option over investing in the stock market. But how much of a return is it going to give me? So this is that internal rate of return formula, and all it's doing is you just highlight those cash flows and then it automatically calculates it for you. So this is saying that I'm going to have a 63.92% return on my investment compared to a 7% return in the stock market. So that's pretty darn good. And finally, the number of periods. This is a calculation that tells me how long is it going to take me to pay off my $9,800 my investment cost. How long is it going to take me to break even if I pay a $500 minimum monthly payment? Now I know I can make this $500 minimum monthly payment because I'm estimating that I'm going to bring in at least $688 a month. So this is a realistic payment figure. Now in all reality, my minimum monthly payment on my loan for the trailer is $212, and I financed it for 60 months or 5 years. Now I don't want to pay it off in 5 years. I don't want to make the minimum monthly payment because I pay more in interest that way. So it is advantageous to pay it off quicker compared to the entire length of the loan so that you save money on interest. And this calculation is telling me how many months it's going to take me to pay that off. So 21 months, that's pretty good. You have to round this figure up because you can't really have 20.87 months. So in reality, that's 21. But you can play with this figure. And this is a cash outflow, so it has to be a negative number. So let's say that I only wanted to pay off 300. Well, now it's 36 months. So that's still pretty good. But the faster you pay it off in general, the better. Now here is where I calculated pocketed cash. So over 4 years time doing this service, how much cash will I pocket? So the way I calculated this is I took $188.52 times 21, so 21 months. We know it's going to take me 21 months to pay it off. And the difference, this $188, is the difference between my monthly payment and how much I make per month in profit. So I know for the first 21 months, as I'm paying off the trailer, the difference, what's left over, is what I can pocket and spend on whatever I want to. Now once the trailer is paid off, then I'll get to keep everything. And that's $688 times 27 months. So 21 plus 27 is 48 months, which is equivalent to 4 years. So in raw number form, that's $22,548. But we want to put that in present value terms because this figure right here is not worth the same amount in today's terms as it is 4 years from now. So what I did is I discounted it at the rate of inflation. Now the average rate of inflation is about 3% as a kind of general rule of thumb. So the cost of goods and services is going to increase by 3% over the next 4 years. or yearly over the next 4 years. So that's the formula right there. So in today's terms, in 4 years from now, I will have pocketed $19,962. So I hope this model is helpful to you. If you're evaluating a new service on something you want to offer, please use these type of tools to help you. There's a lot of confusion over whether offering a new service is going to be profitable or not, and how profitable, and what's my return on investment, and how long is it going to take me to pay off the asset. All of these can be answered with these simple formulas right here. I know that Excel can be challenging, but there are tons and tons of Excel videos on YouTube that can help you navigate and better understand these formulas. So this is just kind of give you a flavor of it. I didn't go into too much detail, but I just wanted to give you a high-level overview on how I price and calculate the success of some of my services. So don't be fooled by some of the other videos out there that says you can be a billionaire by offering one simple service. It can kind of be exciting, but I want to make sure that this is realistic and understandable for those that are, very serious about it. So I hope this was helpful. Please like and subscribe. This is a non-traditional video. Right now it's kind of slow season, being that we're moving into fall and into winter. So I hope this was just something that could benefit you, but I know it's not really tractor related, so forgive me for that, but hopefully I offer something of value. So thank you for your time. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time.